Welcome to the Art Lady channel. Today's lesson is on slab stand-up holiday trees. Now, if we don't want to make it a holiday tree, we can always make it a winter tree, paint it, keep it white, because we're using white clay today. We can keep it white and then just do little tiny cardinal birds, and it would be absolutely beautiful. Or blue jays or bluebirds with little nests. Or you can just do a winter tree, paint it green, and then do some white snow like it's snowballs falling on it. And you have options of curving the top in a whimsical fashion or keeping the tree straight like this one. But I'm going to show you that more in a minute. But we're going to get started because I want this to be a quick demonstration and then you go ahead and do it. So watch carefully as I go very fast. If you're doing this at home, you can pause the video. Or if you're doing it in my classroom, I provide worksheets for the kids so that they can remember all the steps, because there are quite a bit of steps here to do this. And I also have in my worksheets a pattern that you can actually trace. And that's on Teacher Pay Teacher if you're interested in downloading that. What you do is you place 2 fingers in the center and mark them. Now, if you're doing this, you might want to cut this with paper clips. That's a good thing, a good way of cutting it with kids. Or you can use your ceramic knives here. I'll just demonstrate on the ceramic knife. And I'm going to go ahead and cut my triangles off the edges on each side, and I'm cutting down in a diagonal to the edge. Now I'm not going all the way down to the corners because I want this tree to be pretty wide because I want it to stand up. From here, what I'm going to do is give a very gentle pull, and I'm just stretching this clay because I want this to be a little bit wider. And I'm using 3/4 inch thick slabs. You can use a 1/2 inch thick slab, but I found that 3/4 inch is all really that we need. So I'm pulling slightly the bottom. Now if you pull too hard, you're going to break it. Just slightly stretching the bottom a bit. And then my top, I'm going to give a light tug to. Now, again, don't pull too hard or else you're going to break it. And then what we're going to do is now we're going to start decorating it. Now, I have a little bit of pattern on here from my slab roller. So you can wipe that off if you're using a slab roller gently with your finger. Now at this time, if you want to press in any textures, this is the time to press in textures. You can press in textures with, these are clay texture mats. You can use lace. You can gently press in, circle shapes from caps, anything that you'd like for the texture. But it's gentle because you don't want to change the thickness of this clay. We want it to be pretty sturdy so that we can make it 3-dimensional. So I'm lightly pressing in some of my texture. And then I'm going to start off with the star on the top here. And it's basically just a ball of clay, and I'm using the clay that's left over from my corners. So I'm taking a pinch of this, and I'm pinching about the size of a pretty big blueberry, rolling it about 3 seconds, and then pressing it right on top. Now, I'm not going to put it above this because I want this clay to be bonded to this clay so that the star stays forever. So I'm placing it on that top and just pressing in. You can put a little bit of slip if you want. The clay that I use in my class is very wet, so it's easy for the kids to use. And then you can press in star patterns. This was actually a star stamp I pressed in this top. And then this was just a design I pressed in my wood tools. I'll show you there. I'll put a center. It's almost like a floral pattern. And then using your wood tool, you can easily make a star or design on the top here. And then I'll press in the center again to clean it up. Next, you're designing it any way you want to. You can make garland on the tree, like this, if you choose to. And these are rolling coils. This tree I chose to just keep plain. Let's see if you can see it. Have a better view of it, maybe up close. You can see how the texture shows up in here. I just kept it plain, and then I did some little balls in here. To do garland, you roll a coil. Simply take all fingers, and roll. Whoops, I'm gonna have to hold my mat. Roll back and forth. And I like doing it directly on the table because you saw how my mat moves, but that's up to you and your teacher how she wants you to do it. So go ahead and place that on. I'm pressing in lightly, and then if you need to add more, you can. You can continue right over. I'll just end it like this for the quick demonstration purposes. And then decorate any way you want to. Now, you want to make sure you press and seal this really good. If you want to put a little bit of liquid slip under there before you stick it on, that's fine too. Or you can just attach it with some presses on the edges like this. And this will bond just enough. A couple on this side too. This will bond the clay. I'm basically smushing the top clay into the bottom clay. And like I said, this is very wet, so it's holding. Then you can make your little tiny balls and decorations as how you like it. Now, if you want this to be, oh, let's see if you can see in here, with a tea light behind it, you can push holes all the way through. Some of these, you can see it on the back how I did that. So if you, when you push in, if you want to make little tiny lights, you can put your little balls on and then press this in, and I'm going all the way through. That way, if I have a little tea light behind here, all those battery-powered tea lights, that's what works really well, then it's not so dangerous. It will light up and make a little mini luminary. So I'm pressing my balls and decorations, and then you would continue to design the whole tree just like that. And then double check these holes here, make sure they go all the way through. And then if you want to smooth them out on the back, you can. Now I'm going to show you how to make the stand-up part. If you take a paper tube and you just gently wrap it around the paper tube like this, and then I'm bending the top of my tree. This gives the wrap on the bottom. I'm going to move this mat out of the way. And then wrap it a little bit more. I want the top to be rounded here. So I'm rounding my top. I've just pinched my top. I should show you flat. And round the tree. And then give it a tap. It's like this, a tap. Let's see if I can see it so you could. And I want to tap it like that. Just a couple taps. That way it stands up straight. And when you put it to dry, I have it drying in a box standing up just like that. And let me show you what it looks like. Put down straight there. And that's your holiday stand-up tree. It's as simple as that. And let me show you the back, how it's wrapped. And if you want to connect it, you can, like I said. But if you leave it opened a little bit, it's a little bit of a bigger tree as you put it in your box. So I could put it in the box like that. Now remember, as you put it down, however it stays, that's how it's going to dry. So the way you leave it is the exact way. Now if you want to tip the top, you can tilt the top slightly as it dries, and then you have that whimsical tree like that. And it's real adorable if you have a whole village of them and light them up. And you can even make, I have other videos to show and demonstrate how to make stand-up snowmen, stand-up Santas, and stand-up houses. So create your own fun village.